Watch me turn this rainbow rose into a stunning crystal clear heart that will last forever. Let's start by preparing our rainbow rose. I'm using a cloth artificial rainbow colored rose. You can also use real preserved flowers, but cloth roses hold their shape beautifully in resin and the colors stay vibrant. In this section, you'll see me trimming down the back of the rose and removing unnecessary pieces like the stem, plastic backing, and excess material. The goal is to create a flat back so the rose will sit perfectly in the mold without gaps or uneven areas. Watch as I carefully trim away the bulk while keeping the beautiful petals intact. I've mixed up some Let's Resin epoxy and I'm adding just a little bit of crushed crystal. This will give our heart that beautiful sparkle effect you saw in the finished piece. Now I'm preparing the mold by spraying it with isopropyl alcohol. I use 99% because I feel it works best for preventing bubbles. Here's an important technique for fabric flowers. Before placing the rose in the mold, I'm going to dip it in the resin and let it soak up some of the resin first. Because this rose is made of fabric with several layers of petals, I want the resin to absorb into the material and get in between those petals. This prevents air bubbles from getting trapped in the fabric layers. You'll see me pour the resin into the mold while the rose sits off to the side, still absorbing that resin. Then I'll position the rose in the center of the heart, trying to get it to stand correctly where I want it. This pre-soaking technique is key for fabric flowers. It makes a huge difference in preventing bubbles. I'm using a wide tongue depressor to hold the rose stable while I mix up a second batch of Let's Resin epoxy to bring the resin height higher. Now here's a clever technique to suspend the rose so it's not sitting directly on the bottom of the mold. I'm using craft ribbon, UV resin, and a metal rack to create a suspension system. This allows the rose to float in the center of the heart while it cures. You'll see my process. First, I UV resin one end of the ribbon to the back of the rose. Then I wrap the ribbon around the metal rack that sits across the top of the mold. Finally, I UV resin the other end of the ribbon to the rack. This creates a suspension system where the rose hangs at the perfect height in the resin. The rose will stay suspended while it fully cures, creating that beautiful floating effect in the finished heart. This technique ensures the rose is centered and elevated, not sitting flat on the bottom. Now that our project has fully cured, it's time to remove the suspension rack. I just clip the ribbon and remove it completely. The rose is now permanently set in place. I'm mixing up another batch of Let's Resin epoxy and adding some more crushed crystal for extra sparkle. Then I pour that into the mold to build up the layers. Now you'll see me pick up the mold and tip it. That's because there are still layers of the rose that are exposed, and I want to make sure I get resin into those areas to prevent bubbles. This tilt method helps the resin flow into all the crevices and layers of the rose petals before I add the leaves. Now it's time to add our leaves for the background. You'll see me position the leaves so they appear to be coming from the back of our rose, creating a natural, beautiful composition. Once I place the leaves, I press them down underneath the resin to make sure I get out any air bubbles that might be hiding underneath. Leaves will trap air against the resin, so we need to press them down and work out all the air. Here's an important reminder. At each stage of this project, I'm spraying with isopropyl alcohol before pouring each new layer of resin. This is critical because you're generating air with each step, and the alcohol spray helps eliminate bubbles between layers. Every time you pour a new layer, spray with alcohol. This ensures a crystal clear, bubble-free finish. Now here is where I'm placing the leaves. Remember, these leaves are cloth as well, just like the rose. So I'm placing one end in first and then slightly pushing them down underneath the resin to make them appear like they're coming out from the back of the rose. You want to have them completely submerged underneath the resin and have all the air pushed out from underneath them. This is important. Cloth leaves will trap air just like the cloth rose did. So you need to work them down into the resin and press out any trapped air bubbles. I'm positioning them carefully so they create that natural look, like the leaves are growing from behind the rose. Now it's time to begin our back coat. I've mixed up some more Let's Resin epoxy, and I've mixed in some of my multicolored silver glitter. We're going to pour that over the complete back of our rose project. This glitter back coat adds a beautiful sparkle and creates a finished look on the back of the heart. Now, you will notice that our rose is sticking out of the back of our project. Don't worry. I'll show you later in the video how we're going to take care of that and create a clean, professional finish. Now here you'll notice that I'm adding a little bit of glue to our glitter mixture. That's because glitter will sink in the resin and go to the front of our project. Since this is our back, we want to have our glitter stay suspended towards the back of our project. We don't want to have clear resin on the back. We want it to look uniform with glitter throughout. The glue thickens the mixture just enough to keep the glitter suspended where we want it. We're going to pour that over the complete back of our rose project. This glitter back coat adds a beautiful sparkle and creates a finished look. Our project is fully cured, and it's time to get rid of that rose part that's sticking out of the back. I'm going to take my Dremel and cut off the excess rose part that's sticking out. Then I'm going to take my Let's Resin sanding machine and smooth off the top to get rid of any gouges that I may have left with the Dremel. This leaves us with a smooth, professional top. I'll also remove any dust that's been left behind. Now here's a critical safety tip. Anytime you are sanding with resin, you want to make sure to spray it down with water. That causes the dust to go into a wet mixture so it doesn't spray everywhere and doesn't get into the air where you'd be breathing it in. However, you do want to wear your safety gear, respirator, and safety glasses because resin dust can go into your lungs and your eyes, and you don't want that. It can cause breathing problems and eye damage. For complete resin safety information, check out my safety video #203. It is full of knowledge about protecting yourself when working with resin. Now that I've removed the back of the rose, I'm going to clean out the inside of the rose stems that are left inside the piece. I want to be able to have the resin flow down inside of the petals smoothly. With all that sanding I've done, I've left quite a bit of wet dust behind in those crevices. So now you'll see me using some different types of tools to dig down in those crevices and dig out that leftover wet dust. This cleaning step is important to allow for the next layer of resin to flow down in smoothly without any debris or dust particles getting trapped. Here I am in my messy shop. Sorry about my counters. I had a big order come in and I've been working on projects for the eBay store. I haven't had the time to clean up my shop, but I'm getting there. I realize I'm behind on my listings for my store, but please bear with me. Please check back often. I'm only one person and I'm really trying. Also, I don't spend much time in my shop these days. It's winter and my floors are not heated, so it gets very cold out there despite my wall heater. So I don't spend too much time out in my shop right now, but as soon as the weather warms up, I will be sure to try to get things caught up, I promise. So right now I'm pretty much just working on videos and working on what I can do in my home. We just had about 18 inches of snow, and I will slide in a little bit of clip of that for you. I just wanted to show you that I do wear my safety gear when I'm working with resin. I have my mask with my filters. I have my gloves. I have everything the way it should be. I didn't want you all to think that I make videos and I don't do what I say I do. I do. So again, here I am mixing up the last layer of resin for our project. And then I will be back to the table where you'll see me apply it to the back of our project. Then I will let it fully cure. And then we'll be back for demolding. But our project isn't done yet. As I'm adding this last layer of resin to the top of my project, I am allowing the resin to flow nice and slow down into the petals of the rose so that we don't have any unnecessary bubbles. This process is time-consuming, but this is what gets the better results. Rushing this step would trap air bubbles in the rose petals, so patience is key here. You'll see me pouring slowly and letting the resin work its way down into all those layers and crevices naturally. Before we demold, here is the dog keychain I made with the extras. And here it is, our finished rainbow rose heart. Look at how beautiful this turned out. The rainbow rose is perfectly preserved and suspended in crystal clear resin with that gorgeous crushed crystal sparkle throughout. The beveled edges create beautiful light reflection, and you can see every detail of the rose and leaves. This is a timeless keepsake that will last forever. Perfect for preserving wedding flowers, anniversary roses, Valentine's Day bouquets, or any special flower you want to keep forever. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really enjoyed showing you how to preserve a rainbow rose in resin and create this stunning beveled heart keepsake. I hope this inspires you to preserve your own special flowers and create beautiful memories that last forever. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with your fellow crafters and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future projects. I post new videos every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 8 a.m., so mark those calendars. And don't forget to check out my eBay store. The link is in the description below. I'm working hard to get caught up on listings, so please check back often. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video right here on the same crafty channel at the same crafty time. Happy crafting!